updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the BMW X5M competition. I think it's too bright, you can't clearly see it, but let's do one thing. I'll get inside and show you the key of this car. This is a massively powerful version of BMW's X5 SUV, and straight away we're going to be opening the engine bay. It's as easy as that. There's insulation right there and says BMW M Power, sort of a carbon fiber finish, but you know, kind of feels cheap as such. But this is a monster of a motor sitting right there, and the engine bay looks absolutely beautiful. Just look at it. We're going to close the engine bay straight away. Alright, now there are changes which are actually minor to make it look like a sleeper. However, you know, if you know, of course you know. Okay, you see the crossbars on the inside. The grille is actually open, it doesn't close, and it's like big enough to draw in a lot of air. It says X5M right there. You get front camera, you get front parking sensors, and aggressive bumper. The bumper is super duper aggressive. Okay, and it's got a lot of aerodynamic bits. All this is actually functional for better aeros, and there's gloss black finishing in a lot of places, including of course the grille, BMW logo right there. It actually looks very nice in this color, but I think it's going to look even better in darker color, so that you know the grille actually hides and becomes super bright. But these are BMW laser lights, absolutely fantastic, fabulous to say the least, and they have a phenomenal throw at night. Of course, that's the reason it doesn't need front fog lights, because the lights are so amazing on this car. Coming to the side, okay, it is being lowered when compared to the regular X5, but it's running on massive wheels, and massive is an understatement. 21 inches up front. The tire size happens to be a massive 295/35/21, and you can see it gets a 6-piston brake caliper. Now the 6-piston brake calipers at the front. The disc size happens to be 395 mm. Humongous to say the least. The alloys look really very nice, but the profile is so low now you can barely read what is written. Obviously blue colored brake calipers because it's an M car, and this is obviously functional. No, it's not functional. I am shocked. Okay, but it says X5M. Actually they finished X5 in black along with everything black, so you can't really read it unless and until you come really close. And you got a camera here as well. Meanwhile, okay, these are M mirrors which have been optimized for better aerodynamic efficiency. Look really super cool on this car. And at night, okay, from here it projects a light which makes sort of a pattern on the road. That also looks very cool, sort of a signature. The design from the side makes it look very very fast because it's lower, massive wheels, and of course they've given the gloss black finishing all around the windows. You see the B pillar is also finished in gloss black. Meanwhile, the rear tire happens to be even bigger in terms of size. Okay, it's a 315/30/22. Yeah, staggered tire setup, 21 at the front, 22 here. Again, blue colored brake calipers. The alloy wheels look really super duper awesome. M badging, of course, it has to have M badging. The profile is so chintu mintu now. You have to be really very careful by driving this car, even though it is an SUV. Okay, you know the size of, the size of the disc, 380 mm, massive disc. The size of the wheels is so big now, you will be shocked. Look at this. Okay, this is the size of a supercar's wheels. The parking sensors are on the side as well. This is actually for the rear fog light, which is right now on. You get rear parking sensors. The tail lights, beautiful, all LEDs. Says X5M competition because it means serious business. And of course the bumper has been revised. It's finished in gloss black on the lower half, and it's got quad tailpipes, and these tailpipes are as functional as they get. Really very loud, really very obnoxiously loud to say the least. Okay, and this diffuser treatment is also super duper awesome on this car. I'm going to show you the pipes from the other side as well. Now this is a reflector, I believe, because fog light only works on the right side, and this is the reverse parking camera. Unfortunately the car has got really dirty really quick. You get a rear spoiler as well. Meanwhile you get a shark fin antenna. This is not functional. These roof rails cannot be functional. Let's open the boot of the vehicle. Here I press a button and there opens the boot. Now it is a split tailgate. Okay, only the upper one is open. To open the lower one, you press this button and there that also opens. This is very cool because you can actually sit here. It's sort of a picnic table. The boot is massive in terms of size. It's like really humongous boot. And below here you get a spare wheel. The spare wheel happens to be a 155/80/19. You can't get a full size spare wheel on this car, it just won't fit, and there it holds up on its own, and just push it down and there it reclines as well. There's a 12-volt charging socket. Okay, and you can recline the seat by pressing this button. There it reclines. The only problem is that you can recline it, but in order to put it back you have to do it manually, so it doesn't get that electric adjust, which cars 1/5 the cost like the Ford Endeavour also get. This is the parcel shelf. Actually not much of an effort to retract or put it back, and here there's a hook. Okay, there is storage space here, not really storage space. Light placement, of course. And let's do one thing, let's recline the seat. There you press it and it reclines completely. That really increases the boot carrying capacity of this vehicle. You see the boot is actually big enough. Now you can close it manually by pressing once this, but if you press this one now, both of them close together. This actually comes from Land Rover, the Range Rovers. It has been there. BMW owned Land Rover at one point of time, and the first generation of the X5 and the Range Rover was rather one of the generations of the Range Rover. They both were made together. I mean, they were developed together, and that's the reason why this sort of a split tailgate arrangement is there, which is actually quite cool. See the mud flap, really chintu mintu on this car, and it looks so fast even by standing still. That is the beauty of this BMW X5M competition. Okay, you've got a camera on the side because it gets a 360-degree parking camera. Let me do one thing. Let me quickly open the door and let me put these seats back. 60-40 arrangement back into place. Oh yeah, these are heavy seats. These are big seats actually. You can, you know what? This is manual adjust, and this takes some effort to put it down. Manual adjust at this price point, no. BMW, no. Should have been electric for sure. Door pockets are large enough, like really large enough, and someone has put, okay, these are gloves. I thought that was a balloon. Door pockets are large enough. Quality levels are fantastic. Bowers and Wilkins written right there. The quality of this cabin, the leather, everything fabulous. Again, it says M, which actually glows at night, and the mat also has M badging on it. So does the seat belt, has the M colors on it. Okay, the seat recline angle is super duper awesome. Let me get inside and tell you straight away that there is good amount of knee room on offer. There is good amount of leg room on offer as well. Under-thigh support is also decent. Meanwhile, headroom is also pretty good, huh? There's a handle along with a hook. There's light placement here and tweeters, I believe, or speakers, whatever you want to call them. The cabin looks fantastic. I mean, it's super duper awesome. Love it. Love the treatment. Okay, they've given this sort of a contrast stitching. 3 adjustable headrests. There's a center armrest which gets cup holders, twin cup holders. Meanwhile, below here there is storage space. Okay, let's close this. Yeah, actually this happens to be a 40-20-40 recline. There, I reclined it. Now let me put it back into place. Okay, seat comfort is awesome. It gets a 4-zone climate control air conditioning system. So let me do one thing. Let me turn that on for you right away. Okay, we're just going to turn it off. It's going to make some noise. There's a CD player here, HDMI and 2 USB-C along with an aux, 2 aux ports. Actually, these aux ports are for the screens which are there behind, of course. And there is a regular charging socket as well. Meanwhile, it's got 4 screens. Okay, the air conditioning is making noise. We're going to turn off the air conditioning. Here we go. Air conditioning off. Yeah, air conditioning is off. Hazard light also I need to turn off. Hazard light is also off. Doesn't make much noise. Now these screens are not standard equipment, unfortunately. These are optional. So here I'm going to turn it on. This costs around rupees 3 lakhs, 3 or 4 lakh rupees for the screens alone. And you can do a lot of things here, like getting into settings and changing displays and interior light and whatnot. Okay, that's cool. And you can obviously also watch if you want to watch anything on the screen. Like, yeah, that's the reason why it has separate aux inputs, so that you can do that as well. Ambient light colors, plenty. No, not plenty, only 11 colors. We'll talk about that once we get ahead. But you can listen to your own audio system. Okay, it's not really scooped out, but there is a magazine holder, some amount of hard plastics. AC vents are placed here. AC vents are placed here as well. No height adjustable seat belts at the front, unfortunately. And the dashboard is really very nice and sporty, but plenty of leather on this car. And because this is competition, it obviously has a ton, and when I say a ton, that's an understatement, a ton of M badges as well. Okay, here you see this. Okay, soft door close. You don't need to put an effort to close the doors. They just close on their own, because obviously at this price point you expect everything, and obviously all the doors have request sensors. So you just put your hand in and the car will unlock as long as you have the key. These are the controls for adjusting the seats. Now the front seats get 18-way adjust along with 4-way adjust for the lumbar alone, and you see the door pockets are massive at the front. You can save up to 2 people's settings as well. Okay, now this is actually for the seat ventilation. We'll talk about that there. Okay, the glove box is decent sized as well. I love the seats. The seats are so damn awesome. And this X5M which is written, it actually glows at night. When you open the door, it will glow. That's so awesome. Crazy attention to detail. These seats are so mind-blowingly phenomenal. You can turn off the passenger airbag by switching that lever. Okay, again, soft door close is something I enjoy so much. There, it shuts. What a beauty. This car is so freaking amazing in the way it looks. Now I can just keep going around it all day long, just showing you how beautiful it looks, because the design is something which BMW is nailing it, as long as they get the grille size right, which they have thankfully on this car. Anyways, I'm just shouting for no reason. Let's get inside. Okay, getting in and out is very easy indeed. X5M competition which glows at night, which I already told you. So many M badging on this car. Door pockets are really big. Fantastic, everything, the material quality, amazing. Okay, now these are the controls for the power windows. The problem is the power windows are a bit too slow for my liking. Okay, I'm going to open this. You see, aram se ja rahi hai. It has no hurry. It's like, you know what, whatever hurry you have in life, you can make up by exploiting this massive V8 motor. But no, power windows will take its own sweet time. Maybe because they seem to be double glazed. Okay, why don't you roll on your own? See, seems to be double glazed. Fantastic. Anyways, You see, this is actually for the seat. Now I can operate the co-passenger seat, which is I can move it behind, and I don't know why everyone hates the co-passenger so much, that their seat can be controlled by anybody. And yeah, all the controls here. Now I want to increase the under thigh support, no problem at all. I can increase the under thigh support by just pressing this button. Yo baby, now I have no issues as far as under thigh support goes. We have got a proper dead pedal, and I don't know why they have an aircraft design on the brake pedal. It kind of looks cool though. Okay, there's some secret storage space here where there is a screw, for reasons best known to BMW. These are the controls for the headlights. It obviously gets automatic headlights, automatic wipers as well. What do you think about the dashboard design? I think the dashboard looks phenomenal. You see, there is a heads-up display right there, and we're straight away going to get inside this vehicle. Okay, soft door close. Will close the door for me. There, it does it. Love the seat belts, the treatment, the M colors. Now the dashboard is very similar to the regular X5. However, there are certain changes, like it's more sportier, it has more stitching, better stitching, double stitching. It has got like carbon fiber finish, along with the fact that it's got a lot of M badges. This gear lever is actually new. You see the stitching here, beautiful. It says M right there, and you know, usually how you operate a BMW gear lever, this is very different. You actually slot it like this to get into reverse and all. That's pretty cool. This is actually the button to increase or decrease the frequency of the gear shifts. I mean, how fast do you want the gear shift to happen? Red colored engine start button. This is for the M mode. This is for setup. This is for the active exhaust. This is for auto hold. This is for electric parking brake. This is a function for downhill assist. This is for stop start system. This is for the parking sensors, and this is for the camera. This is for traction control, and this is the iDrive controller with all the regular buttons which you would expect. There's a cigarette lighter here, if in case smoking everybody on the road is not enough, you want cigarette as well. Okay, and there is a wireless charging pad, a USB socket. That's a regular USB socket actually. Twin cup holders, and these cup holders are actually having the heating and cooling function as well. You see the light is actually accordingly changing. This is the regular key of the car with the M colors. Now I'm just going to shut this for the moment, and it says X5M competition, just in case you forget which car you are driving. Okay, plenty of screens on this car, but first we're going to see the screen of this BMW remote key. Now it doesn't have a remote parking, which is disappointing, but tells you the range, and you can pre-cool the car, and you can obviously unlock the car and all that. But yeah, the key is super cool. It is wirelessly charged, so you just put it here, and then you see the light actually blinks blue to tell you that it is being charged at the moment. Front seats are fabulous, fantabulous. Okay, and you've got a handle here. You've got a handle here also, because the driver, when he's cornering now, he might be scared of body rolls. He just holds on for dear life. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror, and there's a mirror here along with the light. The finishing on the top, amazing. It's, I think, Alcantara. And here again you get a mirror along with the light. There's a microphone. Light placement on the top. The lights are really very bright. Well, let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof of the car. Okay, first and foremost, it gets a massive panoramic roof, and this actually gets BMW Sky Lounge. What is Sky Lounge? The ambient light is actually paired to this. Yeah, the ambient light is paired. I mean, there is ambient lighting inside the sunroof, which changes colors according to the colors which change for the ambient light in the menu. That is so freaking amazing. Let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof of the car. There it opens. I mean, it opens decent size. Could have opened slightly bigger as well. You have to press it twice. There it opens full size. Okay, you really don't care about a sunroof in a BMW X5, but the good thing is obviously it brings in a lot of airy feeling inside this massive cabin. We're going to lock the door. Here, the doors lock. So the steering wheel is an M steering wheel, which has the M logo on it, and two red buttons, which is M1 and M2. Basically, you can program all the drive modes. So you can see here, M1 is basically all the sporty settings, and M2 is all the, I have turned off traction control in M2, so it's not going to activate right now. But these are the modes, and I can also press this M mode here to change stuff. And when I do, one second, let's get out of this menu. I just press the M mode, and there are three modes here: road, sport, and track. For track, you have to hold, and when you get into track, let's do one thing. Let me get into track. I have pressed this button, held it, and then it gets into track mode. In track mode, driver assistance systems cannot be activated. iDrive system in standby mode. Please do not use on public roads. Activate track. Okay, it turns off the screen so you can concentrate on what matters most, which is driving. And the G-force meter also gets activated here and gets a new cluster mode. Let's do one thing. Let's get out of M mode. We are out of M mode. Okay, now you see this is a regular instrument cluster which we've seen in a ton of BMW cars. You press this BC button to browse through information on the right side, which means that you obviously get the regular stuff which you expect from a BMW, along with a G-force meter, tire pressure monitor as well. And it also tells you how much power and torque you're consuming in real time. Yeah, that also is happening. There's the G-force meter. I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, these are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work really well. You see, plenty of spray on offer. Actually, the car's got a little dirty, which you can see on the side. Okay, let's use the rear wipers as well, and then there it is. Plenty of spray. okay, you definitely need a rear wiper in a BMW X5 because it just gets so dirty somehow in the rain specifically. Now when you turn on the car, now the steering wheel actually moves. Yeah, it moves so that it's easier for you to get in and out, and same it does when you get out of the car, when you turn off the car as well. And obviously the screen shows the whole M on it, like the M screen, the M badging, and also plenty of attention to detail in that regard. These are the controls obviously for the indicators as well as the BC button, which I told you to browse through this. And this is an instrument cluster which we have talked about so much. 12.3 inch. This is also 12.3 inch. Now this is not so fantastic regularly, but when you turn it into this mode, it becomes really very awesome. I love that. Meanwhile, you've got paddle shifters which are beautiful to operate, and obviously it gets electric adjust both for reach as well as rake, and you obviously expect this at this price point. Now these are actually the controls for the audio system, and this is for the cruise control system. Okay, I love the design of the steering wheel. I will not deny that. The center console is a bit tilted towards the driver. These are actually the controls for the audio system. Meanwhile, this is for the air conditioning. Now, air conditioning gets another screen of its own. Let's do one thing. Let me turn on the air conditioning. It's a very nice air conditioning system. When you turn it off, the graphic with which it goes, that's also pretty cool. Attention to detail there as well. Now, this is a system which is fabulous. First and foremost, let me tell you about Bowers and Wilkins. This is the sound system which is optional. I think costs around 4-5 lakh rupees. Standard it gets Harman Kardon, which is also fantastic, but Bowers and Wilkins is another level on top. Now whenever you turn on the audio system, these speakers actually glow. Okay, the light turns on, and when you turn it off, the light dims. That's also I mean, very theater without a doubt. However, what's so cool about the screen is it's a regular BMW screen. You can operate it with touch, you can operate it with the beautiful iDrive controller, you can operate it with voice commands as well, and gesture control too. In fact, you just do like this and gesture control works. Okay, I don't know, that was a weird song. We're going to do an audio test while driving this car because I really do not want to make you listen to radio in this fantastic audio system. Only problem is this Bowers and Wilkins now, which lights up at night, it actually causes a reflection on the screen. So that's something which they did not think through properly. Meanwhile, let's get into settings. Okay, you get interior lighting, and the regular BMW affair. When you open the door now, the ambient light color, whatever it is, it turns to red. It starts blinking in red, so it can tell the person behind that, you know what, the person has opened the door. Be really careful, do not bang the expensive doors of these expensive cars. Okay, now it's got a heads-up display. That display actually changes when you get into M mode, so it's a more Formula 1 style display, and also shows you navigation as well as audio information there. So it's a very loaded heads-up display. You don't have to look anywhere else when you're using that heads-up display. It's that loaded. Now coming to the settings, there's something known as seat comfort. Okay, now I can go and decide massage levels. Okay, there are 3 massage levels as well, 3 massage levels, and there are plenty of massage options here. So you can decide what kind of massage you want. I'm just going to turn it off for the moment, and the massage is available both for the driver as well as the co-driver. Seat heating distribution, you can decide how you want the heating to work on this car. Oh god, it is so hot right now. Yeah, I'm wearing an AMG cap right now, but I'm still sweating like a mad person because it is just, I think it's like 12 or 1 o'clock right now, and it's massively hot. Meanwhile, the camera system on this car is again fantabulous. First and foremost, okay, when I get into car, there's this M menu which lets me configure the modes M1 and M2. Okay, now in these modes you can change so many parameters like engine, transmission, chassis, steering, brake, DSC, start stop, sound control, and MX drive as well. Oh my god, that's crazy. And you can obviously configure the heads-up display to instrument cluster. Everything can be configured in this car. That's how loaded it is. And you can get into vehicle status for tire pressure monitor, engine oil level, and various other factors which probably you would need. Now in driving information, it has this X view. Okay, it has got sport displays, which I usually say, hey BMW, sport displays.
Sport displays.
Because that's something she really understands. Okay, now enough. It's my show. You don't have to talk. Okay, you get journey data. It's very loaded, but it's just unnecessary. You don't care at all about this because all you care about is how the car drives, because this is an M car at the end of the day. But you know, this is very coolly done when you just turn it around and everything moves. And I think we have discussed this a lot of times. What we have not discussed maybe is the reverse parking camera. This is the reverse parking camera. It's fantabulous, okay? Just fantabulous. And the good thing is, obviously car wash, I've shown it to you. When you get into car wash, you're just going to ready the car for car wash. But the 3D view is just entirely crazy. Okay, this is one of the best camera systems without a doubt. In 3D view, you can see the car from every angle, and I mean, it has got bird's eye view. It shows you everything what's happening around. It's just so freaking amazing. I love this. Okay, it's got park assist, which obviously is one of the coolest features you would expect in a car which is so huge in size. The problem with this car is it's not as long as the BMW M5, but it is so freaking wide now. Getting in and out of parking is a pain in your rear. Meanwhile, it's also got reversing assistant, which is like backup assistant, which basically replicates your steering action for 50 meters. Okay, audio, please shut up. Oh, I love this camera. I love the way BMW is doing the screen, and the fact that it gives you so many options to actually operate the screen is also something which is phenomenal without a freaking doubt. Now, storage is not an issue because there's storage space below here along with the USB-C charging socket. I've just kept some stuff inside right now, but that's also quite functional. Honestly, I just love how BMW has made this X5 competition. It's just a blasting machine. It's so freaking amazingly quick, and attention to detail is so nice that everything in this car is all about making you smile. But how is it to drive? Well, let's get going straight away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means first and foremost, we're going to turn off the traction control system. Okay, I am going to come into the car, into driving information, and I'm going to turn on X view. Basically, what is X view? It shows me height here, angle of turn, and there's actually a compass right there. Meanwhile, I am going to press the M1 button, which is programmed to full madness, of course. We get into drive mode. Actually, we get into sport. We press it once again. The gearbox comes into sport. We're going to be in drive. We're not going to be in sport at the moment. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. My goodness, the performance is absolutely stellar, and this car doesn't actually feel like an SUV. Around the corners, you can see it is just so pinpoint accurate. It maintains its line beautifully well, really sharp, really well weighed, and they've done a fantastic job in curbing all that weight from this vehicle, because this is of course a heavy car, 2,400 kgs almost, I think 2,370 kgs. Making a quick overtake, no problem. It absolutely catapults ahead and breaks all speeds in no time at all. That is the level of thrust on offer from this engine. And you know what? I don't need to explain the engine at all, because we all know about this motor. It is an absolute phenomenal machine. Yeah, you have to actually slow down over bad roads. Yeah, this is a very good road, but still there are some bad patches, and on that bad patches you have to be extremely careful in no time at all. Now this car is just lunging ahead, 0 to 100 km per hour in just 3.8 seconds. Okay, this is absolutely useless. So we're going to come into sport displays. There you can see sport displays. So what is this engine? This is the most powerful BMW car ever. Yeah, that's right, I said that. Okay, it's one of the most powerful BMW cars ever to be made. It produces 625 horsepower. Actually, in India and Europe, it produces 625 horsepower. I think in America, it produces 617 horsepower. I don't know why the difference, but it makes it one of the most powerful BMW cars ever. 25 horsepower more than the regular X5M. This is the X5M competition, which is more track focused. I don't understand why they have a competition version. If you're going to buy the full-fledged beast, why you want to get a regular X5M? I mean, you won't be able to show your face to the neighbors that, what? You know what? My car produces less power than yours. Anyways, I believe the same with Mercedes' S, okay? Give us the C63S, not the C63, or whatever car which is a full-blown AMG unit. Now, this produces 675 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output is 750 Newton meters, which is the same as the regular M5. Yeah, the same horsepower as the regular, X5. I get confused all the time between X5M and M5. Okay, so 750 Newton meters of torque, which comes in at a low 1800 RPM and stays there till 5,600 RPM. Now, it can stay there till 5,860 RPM as well, depending on which press release you read. The India one, I think, says till 5,600 RPM. Globally, it says 5,860 RPM. Anyways, the whole point is that the mid-range grunt is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, and because they've done a very smart thing of putting the turbos in the V of the engine, it gets really very hot, the engine, but turbo lag is super well contained. You can barely hear any, first and foremost, nothing at lower speeds. Drivability is super duper awesome. I mean, it's one of the most amazing engines I have come across in terms of the way the power delivery is. It's very linear, but fantastic nonetheless. Get on the gas. The response is so freaking immediate. Alright, now the thing is, I have programmed these modes, M1 and M2. M2 is a little bit sort of a murder mode, so we'll get into murder mode, why not? And you know what, the brakes offer stupendous stopping power. The good thing is that there's a setting for brake pedal feel as well between comfort and sport. That's obnoxious. Now when you get into M2 mode, it says driving stabilization restricted, confirm. I am confirming I want to kill myself. Okay, here it is confirmed. We are in M2 mode. I'm just going to change this, and I'm just going to put the G-force meter. Actually, I'm going to put the how much power and torque is being consumed in real time. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, and off we go. That lunged ahead in no time at all. Okay, obviously this car has got launch control. Like I told you, 0 to 100 km per hour, just 3.8 seconds, which is blisteringly quick. But more than 0 to 100, it's about 0 to 200 km per hour. Because 0 to 200 km per hour takes 13.4 seconds, which is 0.3 seconds faster than the regular X5M. Yeah, the competition gets you so much more oomph, and that oomph is, you can actually feel it. This car is actually made in USA. Yeah, It is made in America. Actually, the SUV culture comes from America, and that's the reason BMW makes its SUVs in America. And because it does the same, I mean, the sound is better than what we see from European BMWs somehow, because the restriction in terms of America is slightly lower than what the restriction is in terms of Europe. Europeans are very strict with noise, but obviously there is some fake sound which is coming inside through the speakers. That's not all right. However, the engine actually sounds fabulous, fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to upshift using the steering mounted paddles. It's a 8-speed torque converter gearbox, really fast with shifts, really very quick, and very fast with giving a downshift. Like I told you, it has a good low end, it has got a good mid-range, it's got a stupendous top end, red lines at 7,200 RPM. I kid you not. Okay, now check this out. We are going to get into manual mode. Here I'm downshifting, come on, and onto the gas. Actually, I am in a higher gear that the car will just wallop ahead. There you see, it's actually shifting because I need to actually change the M mode. Here we are into sport. The instrument cluster changes. There's a track mode as well. Track mode turns off all the driving stabilization, so that's not something we're going to get into right now, because on the track you don't want any interference. Even the screen shuts off. Here we're going to downshift. Oh my god, feels nice to have the tachometer on both the sides. And yeah, now we are in manual mode, I believe. It will not upshift 7,200 RPM. You can see the heads-up display on that. It's flashing, telling me to shift up right away. Oh, that's really nice. What is not nice is the fact that they've put the button to open the boot here. I mean, I would click on that thinking it's a power window switch, but it's not the power window switch. It's actually to open the boot of the car. I don't know why they didn't think through that one. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to get out of this menu, because I want to get into car and I'm going to get into the M menu. Why do I need the M menu? I'm going to configure M2. Why do I need to do that? Because honestly, there's so many settings, I can't even remember to tell you what all changes and what all you can change as such. Okay, anyways, here we are, and we're going to go left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. I'm going to take the liberty of putting traction control in sport. M dynamic mode is active. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Oh my god, what mind-blowing performance. Okay, now I'll tell you what all can be changed. You can change the engine between efficient, sport and sport plus. You can change the transmission. There are 6 settings for the transmission. 3 of them happen to be for a regular drive mode, a regular transmission mode, that is D1, D2, D3, and 3 of them are for sport, S1, S2, S3. And then the chassis can also be changed between comfort, sport and sport plus. The steering can be changed between comfort and sport. The brakes can be changed between comfort and sport, and the DSC can be changed either DSC on or M dynamic mode. M dynamic mode is like more rear power, like more power is channeled to the rear wheels. And then there is obviously DSC off, wherein, you know, traction control is not going to intervene. Meanwhile, you can also configure the X drive system, which is known as the MX drive system, wherein you can decide you want 4-wheel drive sport. Now, all this is very complex, and there's a setting for the stop-start system as well as a setting for, you heard that right, for the exhaust as well. You know, right now the exhaust is obviously turned on, the active exhaust. That's why it is making bonkers noise. Otherwise, you can turn that off and then it becomes silent. The result is that this car feels obnoxious in the amount of settings. It's like you're actually playing a gaming console. You're so excited, but then first you have to download that OTA update, which is like 20 GB. It's going to take a lot of time depending on your internet connection. So yeah, this car is for those who have, okay, that's a Kawasaki Ninja flying by. This car is for those who have the patience of actually configuring everything. Here, what we're going to do is, we are already on M dynamic mode actually. Yeah, the DSC is on. We are going to get to MDM, M dynamic mode. Now the thing is, this is a 4-wheel drive car. Obviously, it's an SUV, right? And all M cars are getting 4-wheel drive now, which is kind of disappointing. But what is the difference here? The difference is, of course, the fact that you can actually not turn off front wheel drive. Yeah, the front axle cannot be turned off. Oh no! Which you can do in the M5 for more dynamic performance. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. It has a nice burp on upshift, like it has some cracks, it has some pops, but like I was telling you, the disappointing part is the front axle cannot be disengaged like in the case of the M5. But what BMW says is you can get into 4-wheel drive sport and then you can do some drifts. So basically traction control turns off, and yet this car is dynamic enough to let you do drifts. Okay, now that's something you would want to do on an open road, but still this car is very capable. Now I'll tell you what, usually all these cars which are 4-wheel drive or front wheel drive obviously have a nature of understeer, because when power is channeled to the front wheels, you're fighting with the front wheels to steer as well as with power. So that's something which always happens with front wheel drive cars, understeer, and also with 4-wheel drive cars. This X5 obnoxiously has no freaking understeer. There's no understeer only. There's no concept of understeer. It actually feels a little oversteery. That is how it's tuned so beautifully well. So more power is channeled to the rear wheels, and obviously we have the M active differential as well, which can decide how much power and torque it needs to channel between individual wheels. A lot of tech going on in there. Unfortunately, some of the tech which is not made to India, like blind spot cameras and radar guided cruise control and autonomous braking and stuff, which is an option abroad. Want to make a quick overtake? No problem. Braking performance is stupendous to say the least. Look at the stopping power, absolutely fabulous. Okay, this is absolutely stunning stopping power. I love it. Okay, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, revs to 2000 RPM. This is a car which does 200 kilometers per hour with ease. The top speed happens to be only to 50 kilometers per hour, but you can pay BMW for the M drivers package, which increases the top speed to 290 kilometers per hour. No. You can't go 300 kilometers per hour in this car because obviously it's obnoxious in terms of size. However, I have to admit that the overall handling of this vehicle is phenomenal. It drives like a, dare I say it, like a sports car. And what is the most amazing part is the steering wheel. It is super duper fast. It's so freaking accurate. It's actually light at low speeds, but weighs up brilliantly at high speeds, especially when you are in the sport mode, that is. In comfort mode, the car feels really easy to drive. You don't feel all that grunt and you don't get scared silly. But you don't even get scared silly in the sport modes because this is a heavy SUV. It actually insulates you from everything. What it cannot insulate you is from the tire noise. The tire profile is so low. This car is so freaking stiff. Everything is stiff. Right from the engine mount to the chassis suspension, everything is supremely stiff to the point that you feel almost everything on the inside. And especially on Indian roads, you realize that no road is perfect. It's far from perfect. So you feel every bump of the road right on your ass. That is the level of stiffness on offer. This is not a car you would enjoy driving daily or on Indian roads because it just feels super duper stiff. Now obviously you have got manual controls with the steering mounted paddles. Honestly, just let the car do its thing. I mean, yeah, of course, it has a very fast shifting 8-speed torque converter gearbox which just knows the right thing to do all the time. Okay, here we are going to get into M2 mode. Yeah, we are in M2 mode right now. It always needs to confirm that because it will be like later telling me, see, you decided to do so, I was not involved in all this. Now we're going to get into the G-force meter and I'm going to stop here. Oh, what a lovely machine. My goodness, the way it channels power is so good. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Oh my goodness, I kid you not, okay? It just feels obnoxiously stiff, but the steering is so freaking fast and accurate. The car absolutely jinks in the corner you want to take it to. Absolutely stunning handling. There is body roll, of course, but it's so freaking well contained. It's none of the business for an SUV to drive so beautifully well. You take it to any corner, just push it. You don't realize you're driving a car which weighs 2,400 kgs and which is so huge in terms of size. And talking about huge, this is actually a mid-size SUV, okay? My mid-size luxury SUV, because the big one is of course the X7. However, it still feels too wide for our needs, honestly, because when you're driving it in the city, you're like, oh my god, I'm just going to take 2 lanes. And then when you go to park now, this car almost scrubs almost everything which is around you. So that is a slight bit of a problem. Actually, it's a big problem to drive this car because it just feels too big. However, people in America are like, oh, this car is actually very small. I don't even know what accent that was, but honestly, they find it small because they're used to pickup trucks. We are not. We are used to X1s and X series, not X5s. But this one with its ballistic performance is just too hot to handle, to be frank with you guys. Okay, here we're going to go again. Launching this car is so satisfying. I can do it all day long. Here we go. Mind-blowing performance. Now all that performance is great. Like I told you, the turbocharger is actually placed in the V. The result is the car heats so much. It heats so much that BMW had to put massive fans to cool it down, and those fans work overtime. So what happens when you park the car? For half an hour, the fan is still working to cool the car, cool the engine, of course. And your security is like, in your building, they're like, sir, your car is on. And I'm like, actually it wants to cool itself. They're like, kya? And I'm like, chill kariye, relax karo. So that is another big problem with the way this car heats. In fact, you can't really stand near the front fender or the front wheels because the engine just heats like nobody's business. Really very hot, just like the car. Super duper hot. The car is hot, so is the engine. Okay, I love the fact that it changes lanes so fast and there's so much grip. It's obnoxious amount of grip. But that brings me to the big fat elephant in the room, and you guys know what the elephant is the pricing. This car costs rupees 2.25 crores on road Mumbai, which is more than twice the price of the regular X5. Now if you talk about the 40i, the 40i is priced at rupees 1.05 crores. Now all the prices I talk are obviously on road Mumbai, but that's a lot of money when compared to the regular X5, because first and foremost the regular X5 is actually assembled in India via the CKD route. This one comes, you guessed it right, CBU route, so a lot of taxes to be paid and stuff like that, which really increases the price of this car, unfortunately. But hey, you get crazy performance and it's very practical. Ground clearance is a non-issue here in spite of the fact that's now lowered. As I see it, the X5M, fabulous. Okay, there's a facelift which is coming really soon, so you have to also think about, maybe there could be discounts if units are lying here, but I doubt any unit is lying here because it's going to be sold out in no time at all. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Lane change is so freaking quick, and before you know it, you have to apply the brakes because it just breaks all the speed limits in no time at all. Now, launch control is there in this car, but like some of the BMWs, it really doesn't work that fantastically well. Could have done better in that regard. We're just going to move the steering a bit up as such. Okay, now another thing, I'm going to get into manual mode here. We're going to downshift, 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 and okay, around 5000 RPM. Seems calm, but sounds really nice. Okay, listen to this. It's actually showing me in the display to upshift 7200 RPM is goosies for me, and I can't believe this is actually a turbocharged engine. Twin turbos, but still just stupendous amount of grunt from this car. Drivability, instant response is just mind-blowing. The way, obviously, it's a M car, it has to really put a massive smile on your face, and it doesn't disappoint in that regard at all. What a fantastic machine. Okay, only thing is that the ride is obnoxiously poor. It's so harsh. I hate the ride quality on this car. I have to be so careful while driving it as well, and especially, you're just worried you're going to, nick the curbs any place, because that is how wide the wheels are. So you have to be really careful in that regard. But then all these camera systems just help your cause in terms of making it easier for you to actually drive and park this vehicle when you're going to come to a halt. Ah, what a machine. Now we're going to press M mode. We're going to keep it held. Okay, it says track mode. Basically, it says activate track. Nothing's going to happen because the four-wheel drive system is really very complex, really very advanced. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. It's gone manual on the gearbox, but in spite of the fact that it's actually, reduce the traction control intervention dramatically and channel more power to the rear wheels. Basically, all these X-Drive system now, regular, it's channeling still more power to the rear wheels, and then you go into sport, it channels slightly more power to the rear wheels, and now it's channeling even more power to the rear wheels to give you that sports car feeling. But there is just so much grip on offer, you would never have a problem. The screen has just shut itself off because it's like, you just concentrate on putting down the power. I shall do that. And here, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. It's that simple. We're just going to get out of this mode right now because I'm not really enjoying not seeing any data here. Probably, I just feel kind of freaked out. We're going to get into sport. Actually, I have to press this M mode here. That touchscreen thing is not working. I love the display. This is such a sexy display. Oh my goodness, what a machine. But I don't understand why it has so many settings, so complicated, so confusing as well. You really need to spend a lot of time to get the right settings to actually give it the beans, to be very honest with you. So guys, this is my vlog of the BMW X5M competition. A fantastic car, but really very uncomfortable on bad roads. Although it has a lot of space for 5 people. It's like a bus with a nitro engine strapped to it, so you can get the kids to school at the right time always. And if you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Now, dropping a gear is also not needed. This is one of the few cars, the harder you drive, the faster it goes. Like, most cars have a peak. Okay, you drive it fast, it peaks the power, and then it drops. Here, performance never peaks. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. And I'm like, I'm tired, I am scared, let me slow down. It just does not peak its performance. It keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And that's so freaking amazing about the BMW X5M. I just remembered one thing that I forgot to tell you guys. What is the fuel efficiency of this car? That's the most important thing. That's the reason why I actually come to this video. Well, it returns between 2 to 5 kilometers per liter, and usually you'll get something around 4 kilometers per liter. No matter how sanely you drive, this car is just going to drink a lot of fuel. And I believe the fuel tank capacity is around 90 liters, somewhere around that. It has a massive fuel tank for sure. So, it can actually cross Germany in one tank probably while being driven at 290 kilometers per hour. And yeah, that's it. That's important, right? Forget about the